Alright, bro. This is my third time recording this video. So really, in actuality, I'm just gonna get straight into it. My photography summer 2024. I did one of these last year, and I unfortunately made the grave mistake of not dropping a single YouTube video all summer yet again for the second year in a row. But I was very busy this summer, and you'll see in this video. I got a lot to talk about, got a lot to go over. Yeah, let's just get straight into it, bro. So first, I'd like to start off with equipment. A lot of new things in, but unfortunately, we lost a very, very key part of our arsenal, or I should say like a key piece of equipment, which is the Pentax 6.7. I'll actually be talking about the shoot this happened in this video, but we did lose the Pentax 6.7, unfortunately. I'm not sure if I'll get another one yet because this will be my third 6.7 in 3 years, which is kind of crazy. And a lot of money is spent, and I've decided to invest my money elsewhere, which I'll get into pretty soon. But Pentax 6.7 broke, RIP. But I did get a new camera, and that is the Blackmagic 6K full frame. And yes, I did jump on the Blackmagic sale earlier this year. They put a 6K full frame camera on sale for $1,500. Why would I not buy it? On top of the fact that it came with DaVinci Studio. If you didn't know, I had been using the free version of DaVinci this entire time. So they pretty much sold me a 6K full frame for $1,200, right? And then gave me DaVinci Studio with that for $300. It's like, if you buy this program for $300, we'll give you a camera for $1,200. Like, bro, count me in. I'm buying that. But yeah, I got a whole other bunch of stuff with it. I'll put it up here. I can like show a video of like the setup, and then like I'll give like a little list of all the stuff I got with it. So yeah, new camera, right? Yay for that. Lastly, I got a new workspace. So if you didn't know, I've pretty much been doing all my stuff for the past like 3 to 4 years on a 2020 M1 MacBook Air, the stock one at that. So the very base level one. And it's been doing me pretty decent. I wouldn't say well, you know what I'm saying? It can hold up, but there's a lot of things I wasn't capable of doing because of the system I was working on, and editing photos would take a lot longer. There was a lot of throttling in my footage, things of that sort. So this update was much so needed. Actually, it's right here. So yeah, went from a M1 MacBook Air to an Now, let's get into what we had going on this summer. All right, so starting off, Selin Mag. Earlier this year, right? This was around the springtime, but I'm going to count it as summertime anyways. I don't care. Deal with it, whatever. I was invited by my good friend Giselle, shout out to you, Giselle, to work on a project with her and a full group of creatives. I was actually the only man on this project, funny enough. Yeah, I believe I had Ja with me assistant. Shout out to you, Ja, if you were watching. Giselle was a makeup artist. Giselle with the E was doing the hair and nails. And then Miranda was the stylist, I believe. And if any of y'all are watching this, shout out to y'all. And then, of course, Eve is the model, if I didn't say that already. And it was a pretty cool concept, bro. I'm not gonna lie. She had a few ideas that she wanted to get out, and she trusted me to capture them visually, and I did what I needed to do. And this set, we actually, well, not really on my own terms, but really on Giselle's terms, of course, because she's the creative director. She submitted them to Selin Mag, and she had me do a cool edit on the photos, which I actually really liked. I love the originals as well, but these edits were pretty cool, and it turned out really good. I liked the look of the photos, especially on that first look, which I believe when she was in black for the most part, she was in like a long skirt. I can't necessarily remember. I'll show the photos up here, but they came out pretty cool, and we got featured on a magazine, you know what I'm saying? And it was pretty fun. Then right after that, I had Psycho. So I was invited by my good friend. I'll put his Instagram up here. Worked with him, collab with him plenty of times, and I'll be mentioning him again later in this video too. Really my guy. He invited me to do a shoot with another group of creatives whose Instagrams I will put up on the screen as well, to work on a visual recreation of the movie Psycho. So of course, with little twists on it, like the makeup, the styling and stuff like that, you know, really just a big creative project based on a movie concept, which will be, I have another one of these coming later on in the video. But pretty easy for me. Once I saw the bathroom, I knew it was a go. I would say like more of like a old school vintage bathroom, which makes perfect sense. Obviously that film was shot on motion picture film. It was made so long ago, way before digital cameras, so you know, it was pretty easy for me to know that I needed to shoot this project on film in order to match the look and match the vibe. And this was actually the shoot where my Pentax 6.7 broke, unfortunately. I was shooting with a strobe, of course, because the bathroom was a little dark, but I was still pretty confident in my frames and what I was getting out of my photos. And then somehow, some way, like almost in the middle of the third roll, I took a photo and my shutter got stuck. This is a common issue on Pentax 6.7s. I even posted a video about it earlier this year, and I got a comment recommending me to try some things. Yeah, I mean, RIP to 6.7, but back to the point, the shoot went really, really well. And of course, me being the person I am, I was over prepared per usual, but this time being over prepared really paid off because I had my Contax T2 with me, and I was able to shoot a few rolls at 35, which she ended up liking a lot as well. So next we have Lemeget. How do I make a long story short, right? So I met this kid named Mosh, right? My friend Kurt, shout out to you, Kurt. May or may not be watching this, shout out to you, Brody. He hosts events, right? And he's been doing this for a few years now. And sometime, I would say in 2021 or 2022, my boy Mosh was vending. He owns this brand called Lemeget, right? Most of my audience would know about this brand from the artist Yeet. So a few years ago, he actually sent a few masks to Yeet that he liked so much that he would wear all the time. I networked with bro. We pretty much just followed each other on Instagram until one random day earlier this year. You know, this isn't a part of the summer video because this was in the winter time, but he had the opportunity to link up with Trippie Redd, and we actually shot him in my studio. So from there, we decided to keep in touch after that shoot, of course, and we linked up and we did a few shoots over the spring and summertime for these bags and these hats that have released, and the hats are releasing soon. Some good work that I haven't posted yet, so obviously this will be unreleased, but I do plan on putting this stuff up on my page. What I can say is, one, very solid guy, two, always fun to work with, a lot of creative direction between the both of us when it comes to these unique shoots, and I was just producing really good work with him. Yeah. It happened really in the winter time, so I didn't want to put it in a video, but I did shoot Trippie Redd, just to throw that in there. That was really fun. And shout out to my boy, if you're watching this. Shout out to you, buddy. After that, we have Crude, which should have been expected from every single one of you, especially people that watch all my videos. So if you don't know, now you know. I work with a brand, Crude Worldwide, pretty much handle all the visuals. Shout out to my boy 12K, if you're watching this. Shout out to you, Brody. We literally do it to him every single time. For the past year, we've been wrecking havoc every time we collab on a post and drop together. It literally don't even make no sense. But to get back to the point, this will be 1 to 2 times I'll be mentioning bro, right? But we did a shoot for his cargo camo pants, and we did this in the studio in Rawway. I will link it above. Again, have my mans on the styling, did an excellent job. Of course, 12K curating with the clothes and me on the visuals, and we had some models that had good looks to them. Just really, I would say this was one of those, a bunch of cool kids in the right spot at the right time, just creating cool work. Yeah, bro, these photos are great. These still haven't been posted yet. Probably gonna come out before I drop them, but they will drop before our actual official shoot for those cargo pants, which is gonna be crazy. I'm telling you, it's gonna be insane like every other time. For this set in particular, what I want to talk about is the grade of it. I actually finished these photos originally maybe 2 or 3 days after the shoot. I don't want to say they were boring, but I knew I needed to add something extra to them to really get people to want to be attracted to the pants more, and to get people engaged and to want them to buy the pants. It took me a week and a half to almost 2 weeks of me just playing around in Lightroom trying to figure out a look I wanted, and eventually I got that look. And I say all that to say sometimes, you know, it doesn't really come overnight. You could have a good set of something, you could have a good video, you could have a good grade, but if it's not necessarily what you like, or if you know you can do more with what you have, sometimes it really takes time, and it's really a grind to really get what you want. Next, Roots Picnic. First and foremost, want to give a shout out to my boy Jordan for helping me out for the second time with getting a media pass to this event. Super thankful, super grateful. I thanked you so many times. This was my second time going to Roots Picnic. My first time was in 2022, this time being the second time, let alone the same festival. You know, I knew there was gonna be a lot of improvement, and I was gonna work out all the things I didn't do right the first time, which I pretty much did. I came through, of course, overly prepared with some new equipment too. You know, now I have the XH2. I was shooting with the XT3 back then. The autofocus and the focus tracking is much better, and you know, with updated technology with denoising and Lightroom and stuff like that, I was able to shoot a lot better. I was able to shoot a lot more freely with a lot less worry, and I had a good time. I plan on making a whole separate video about this. I actually did make a video about this, I just didn't finish it, of course, because you know, I was super busy this year. Even though it's not okay to neglect YouTube, I think at the same time, you know, I do think this deserves its own video. So I'm definitely gonna make a video on my festival experience, right? But you know, festivals are very competitive. You know, there's definitely a fight for the top shot in the pit. You have to drink a lot of water, you have to be on your toes, you know what I'm saying? You have a time limit unless you're assigned to that artist for the day. You only have the first 3 to 5 songs. It's a very crazy, fast-paced atmosphere, but you got to roll with the punches and make it work. And this year I think I got a lot of great frames. So, but yeah, Roots Picnic. Thank you again, Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you so much, my boy. Yeah, man, Philly was fun. Next, Juneteenth. So this year for Juneteenth, I went to Beautiful Faces event, and it was really just me and my point and shoot. I linked up with my good friend Storm, who's also an excellent creative, and her friend Britt, who I met that day. Shout out to y'all too if y'all are watching. I pretty much just walked around and just took photos of what I like to see. I took some photos of the environment. I took some photos of people that I thought looked cool, some people that I thought looked good, and I really just went out and had a great time. I think the thing about Juneteenth is it always feels good to feel comfortable around your own people, where you could just really be you and be yourself and celebrate you. And also too, the last time I documented Juneteenth was 2022, because last year the event that I had planned on going to got canceled. So you know, I didn't make it out there. But yeah, Juneteenth was fun. I ain't even gonna lie, Juneteenth was fun. It was a very chill day. I ran into a lot of friends, ran into a lot of good people, and it was a good day of celebration. You know what I'm saying? It was great outside, the weather was excellent, the venue was nice. It was just a good time, bro. Long story short. Next, so after Juneteenth, we have the soccer spec. Now this one I'm excited to talk about. My good friend Olivia, right? So I've worked with her before. I believe I had only did one shoot with her before. We're up to 3 now. She invited me to do this soccer spec with some of her friends, who I will link, the models and everybody else a part of the production team. They wanted me to shoot it on film, on motion picture film. I did buy a Bolex earlier this year, kind of an impulsive purchase, but something that I want to get into, which I still have not even tested the first test roll I shot on this camera, but that's neither here nor there. Don't worry about that. Just know on that day, I did not use the Bolex because it was raining pretty hard. So what did I do? I shot with my digital camera. At this time, I didn't have the Blackmagic yet, so I shot with the XH2. Probably would have went with the XH2 anyways because, you know, it's really fast paced and I need it for autofocus and things of that sort. Going into the shoot, I had no real game plan, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I just knew they'd look cool, but I didn't really know exactly how they would look, and I knew I'd get some nice footage, and my original plan was to just work on my color grading skills. But when they got there and I really saw what they had on and I saw all the soccer bras they brought with them, I was like, I could really make something out of this. My game plan really came as I was shooting. You know, mixing soccer with fashion was a really cool challenge for me. I don't think I spent more than like a half hour to 45 minutes shooting all the girls, and by the time I left, I knew I had something good on my hands. You know, when I went home and I really started editing, things started formulating more and more and more, but what really got me was the sound effects. So I had no idea this was gonna be the star in this entire thing. It really just happened, but I now know, you know, when it comes to like sports edits and stuff like that, man, sound effects is key. I pretty much did everything on my end. I did the video, I DP'd it, I graded it, I edited it, I SFX'd it, I did everything except creative directed. And yeah, shout out to Olivia again. Thank you for even fetching this opportunity to me. I met so many great people, you know, even people that weren't there, like the makeup artist was not there, but she did such a great job. All the models did an excellent job, and it all worked out. Next, Slimesito, right? So again, crew worldwide. Not many brands put out work as good as us. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. We were able to link him one day out in LES. He was with his manager, and you know what I'm saying, Todd gave him some clothes and we did a pretty quick shoot. Again, another one of those run and gun shoots, you know, like real rapid timing, right? But it came out pretty well. He was pretty comfortable around us, right? And as soon as he saw some of the first few frames I took, he got really comfortable, and because he liked the photos, he was willing to shoot with us more and more. And I got some really good frames of him. I'm not even gonna lie, I got some really good frames of him that show a lot of personality and a lot of character. And again, like, you know, it just worked out with the clothes and everything. It was just a really good look. This was also cool for me too, because I do listen to bro's music and I've been a fan of him for a few years now. I would say for like more than 5+ years. So it was a cool like little full circle moment. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I was listening to in high school, I get to shoot now, you know, pretty cool. Next, AVRT. So watch my video last year, let alone if you follow my Instagram. It was one of my biggest posts. I did a like mini little campaign with this local brand called AVRT. Again, shout out to the guys and the one girl. Appreciate y'all, of course. But yeah, we did something last summer and I had the opportunity to shoot for them again this summer. So the concept that I did this year was a lot different from last year. This concept that I did, I actually almost did last year with Geo. And thankfully I changed my mind really early into it for many reasons. I did this shoot with Kyron, by the way. Shout out to you, bro. Again, another name I mention like all the time. I told him when we first got the hoodies, it was like early to mid-July. I was like, yo, I think doing shoots at spots that look exactly like the color of the hoodie would be really cool to do. But right, how in the world am I gonna find spots that have a color or the colors of all these hoodies outdoors? Like, it's damn near impossible. Not damn near impossible, but it's a stretch, it's a reach, especially for like a personal project, right? So I pretty much narrowed it down and I told him like, we're just gonna shoot this in the studio, and I'm gonna figure it out from there. And then once it came down to that, it was like, okay, now I can really go and like sauce it up and make it look like a old school video game ad, or like old pages, like old advertisement pages out of these magazines that we used to see as kids, right? So one thing that I've always been infatuated with is advertisement from older magazines and just like old school commercials and stuff like that. Advertising was very important. I don't think the art of advertising has ever gone away, but you know, back then it was crucial to catch people's eye. And one thing in particular that always caught my eye was video game advertisements. One, because I grew up playing video games. Two, just because of how cool they look. And I've always wanted to do a shoot where I was able to edit the photos to replicate the look of like an old school video game ad, and with this one I did that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That was really concept heavy. I would say shooting, it wasn't really too technical. Even too in the studio, I had bro stand there for maybe like what, 10-20 minutes. Shout out to bro, shout out to the brand. Ja was there with me too. Shout out to Ja. Yeah, bro. Next, Betty Boop. So another old school concept, right? Similar to Psycho, but very different. Also my first video project that I shot with the Blackmagic. So just a conceptualization that I had in mind, again, working with Eve and Giselle, and we had a girl named Michaela on the hair. Shout out to all three of y'all. Again, Eve and Giselle. my favorite MUA model duo, the greatest duo of all time. But in all seriousness, yeah, I had this conceptualization because I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've seen a lot of people do Betty Boop shoots over the past few years of my life, and I never really felt like people took the time to really create a serious reimagination of that look to the point where it's very reminiscent of the actual show. It was a pretty hectic day. I'm not even gonna lie, that whole day was kind of insane. I made the treatment about a month to a month and a half before we actually did the shoot, and yeah, I think the location I picked worked perfect with everything, and I was able to get a pretty good look that's similar to the show. I think the only difference is I didn't shoot this in black and white, but if you see the excellent grade on this video, why would I ever shoot this video or grade this video in black and white when I made it look the way it looks? I still made it look like motion picture film. Come on, bro. Why would I shoot this in black and white? I'm not putting this in black and white. The makeup was great. Everything was great. I had Mel with me on this one. Shout out to Mel. Great BTS. And bro, like, you know what I'm saying, Eve killed it, really. Like, she was the perfect look for this. Of course, I've worked with her tons of times before, but even outside of that, even if I hadn't worked with her before, this for sure would have been the first time. And this was another project where I used all sound effects, but it was fairly simple this time. It wasn't anything too crazy. I will leave a link to the YouTube video of the video up. I'm not going to play it on this video because there's already a video on YouTube of it up. So go run that video up. I'll leave the link somewhere here. I did use a LUT where I really used a power grade. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give too much away. Honestly, I might not even say that much. On to the next one. Cheeba. To make a long story short, a local rapper from my neighborhood. Bro could really rap, by the way, seriously. And he had been previewing some songs that I really liked, and I just so happened to pick one of the songs, and I was like, yo bro, let's shoot a video for this song, and he was with it. Turns out Shauna was featured on this song. I didn't even know at the time. I did a music video with Shauna last summer, and I really just wanted to shoot a music video. For me, it had been a while, and I wanted to do a quick run and gun video because I knew I would have to put a lot of emphasis on the editing of the video, right? Since there's no real plan, we're just going out shooting. I got to make it look good and presentable in one way or another. And so I linked them by where they were, and we literally just walked around a small part of the city, and we just made it work. You know, it was cool to just walk around, chill, and then shoot videos. Like, we shot by this one bando, and then we just shot on this random corner. Like, it was I'm not gonna say crazy, but it was very last minute but very fun, and it gave me a really big opportunity to work a lot on my editing, which I feel like I did a way better job on than any of my other music videos I've done so far. And all in all, it was cool, bro. Shout out to the two of them. And yeah, Cheeba tape is on the way. I've heard most of it, unless he's changed it up a lot. I highly doubt it, but it's really, really good, bro. I'll also leave a link to the music video because it is up on my page. On to the next. So what's actually next, I can't really speak on. Again, shout out to Olivia. That'll be dropping soon, but I lied to y'all. I did a shoot for Snipes. Don't mind the mess in the back. Obviously, I'm recording last minute. Olivia asked me to do a shoot for Snipes. Pretty last minute thing, but it was fun. We just walked around Brooklyn taking some portraits. I found out I was shooting the day or like 2 days before, and then I did the shoot, edited the photos, and sent them out all within like 15 hours, I think, max. Not necessarily my best work, but not work that's trash either. There's some frames in there I really, really like. And yeah, all in all, a good experience. Shout out to Olivia. Thank you so much. Back to the video. That's probably my biggest, like, I guess you could say, client to date, but I did a shoot with my homie Angely, which I will speak about. We've been mutuals on Instagram for a little bit. Was in New York for Fashion Week, and she asked me if I wanted to link up and do a shoot, and I was like, sure. And to make a long story short, we did the shoot. The shoot went really well, but one thing I like to point out really is the makeup. So the makeup and the spikes really made everything work. Added a completely new vibe and like a completely new aura to the shoot. I hate that word, but it's really the truth this time. And I had fun. Editing it was fun, but this was also another one of those shoots where I had to really grind and figure out like what I wanted to do in terms of the grade. I was even having a discussion with her about this, but I did spend a good like 6 to 7 days really just sitting in Lightroom trying to finalize a grade that I liked for the photos, even with the smallest, tiniest changes or tweaks that probably wouldn't even be noticeable to the human eye. It was noticeable to me, and I think I made like 8 different presets, if I'm not mistaken, until I got to like the 9th or the 10th one. We did 2 looks. We barely had time for the second look, but we still got one in. Yeah, all in all, I had fun. And shout out to Angely, bro. Bro, shout out to you. That was really fun. I'm super excited to work with you in the future. And yeah, thank you for putting me on to the project. I really appreciate that. Next, I have more shoes than friends. So this girl named Kyra owns a brand, right? I'll tag them above. Very short, simple, sweet, to the point. She had a pretty cool concept in mind. She had pretty cool people that she wanted to model with her for the concept for her own brand. So she handled all the creative direction, but I really enjoyed this because it was such a cool shoot. Again, this is another one of those shoots where like you just link up with cool people and it all works out. Very cool, interesting people, all with their own identity. Again, a very simple concept that turned out to be something great. This is also unreleased too. I haven't posted these yet. I haven't gotten to posting them yet, but I definitely will because these need to be up on my page. Very short, simple, sweet, and to the point, but it came out great. On to the next. So some extra shoots that I just like to point out. I was able to work with 3 people this summer. I'll start off with the first one, Alexis. So I met Alexis recently through a shoot I did, I think last year fall. Very great person, very great energy, fun to be around. She's really funny if you really get the chance to meet her. She's hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie. And we just went out for a portrait session. That was another pretty stressful day because as I was driving to pick her up to go to the location we did the shoot at, it started raining, but the rain eventually slowed down when we got there. And in her words, the cloud really did become my diffuser. I was able to get some really nice editorial-like portraits. She also does model as well, but the cool thing about this is Alexis is actually a photographer herself. She does photography and videography, but me being a photographer, I know that like you're very picky about who you pick to be in front of your lens when you have the opportunity to be picky about it. Like when you get to pick your photographer, as a photographer, you're not gonna pick somebody whose work you don't like, let alone somebody you don't trust. At the end of the day, when another photographer picks you to be the photographer for their shoot, it's something you should be thankful for, and I truly was super thankful for it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. I had a great time and we got some great frames out of that. Next, Ty and J, my dog, my heart, my twin. I met Ty and J in the 7th grade, y'all. We've been friends since the 7th grade, bro. I'm 25 now. Another excellent photographer who puts out excellent work, bro. I genuinely love her work, and I'm not saying that just because that's my homie. Like somebody who has frames that I truly admire. She wanted to go out take some portraits. I said I'm down to do it. She trusted me. She let me take her photos. Cool little shoot. We were just in Central Park. I got some pretty cool frames, but it was really just a day of me just catching up with the homie, honestly. We've somehow been able to keep in contact the past like 12, 13 years. Also too, I'm gonna put a link to her YouTube. If I don't put it up on the video, I'm gonna put it in the description. She has a really good YouTube channel. She drops really good vlogs. You should definitely go check it out. Lastly, Sade. So we did like a little conceptual shoot about like the overexposed, I wouldn't want to say a paparazzi shoot, but like, it kind of gave off that vibe, and it was something that was really out of the norm of what I usually do, which in return was a really good thing because it allowed me to, well, it really forced me to change my style up, and it forced me to do something that I don't normally do, right? And in return, it was a good learning experience. I learned a lot from it, and I also still too got some really good frames out this shoot, and it was a fun time. Again, another person with great energy, great vibes on set, and we really just walked around some parts of Brooklyn and made magic for real. And if you're watching this, bro, thank you. Yeah, bro, that's pretty much my summer all in one video. Ran around, did a lot, didn't really think too much. A lot more videography stuff sprinkled in this year than last year. Most importantly, I'm just having fun. I can't really complain, bro. I'm having fun. I love what I do. I'm super thankful. You know what I'm saying? It's really getting to the point where, like, you know, the stuff I prayed for and look forward to is really coming into fruition, and it's really happening. And my work is starting to look like what I envisioned it looking like. That's pretty much it for me. I've been talking a lot, so I'm not really gonna put anything else on this outro. Thank you so much for watching, listening. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much. More videos on the way.